Hello everyone, we are from Group 6 and my name is Wan HARISUN binti Wan Hamid 049428. Next member.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is WANI KHAIRANI binti Muhammad Khadir. My metric number is 050965.
My name is UMAIRAH IFFAH binti Azharuddin 051629.
Hi, my name is IMAN Amina binti Azman 050404.
My name is KHAIRUN binti Alas 049429.
My name is SYAMIMI binti Muhammad Suyon 049453.
Okay, next we will present the video. Please wait for us to share the slide first. So our topic that we bring today for the International Criminal Law subject is World Criticism Towards China's Action to Ethnic of Uyghur. How far has the world come to fight for Uyghurs' rights and China's denial on their action? Next. For the introduction, as we are actually talking about Uyghurs ethnic in China, Xinjiang, China, we should know about the history first. The People's Republic of China is a rising power in the economic sector as well as other sectors. As we know, it is a rising power among United States, India, Japan, and other countries. However, along the success, this major power China also have their own issues. China is a huge country. It was the third largest country by area among other countries in the world. Many of the countries inside China was acquired by acquisition and conquering the neighborhood countries. Tibet and Xinjiang are some of the examples of the conquered countries. In 2014, the ethnic of Uyghur have been affected by the persecution of China. Next. Chinese government have imposed extensive restrictions and controls upon the religious, social lives and cultures of Uyghur ethnics. From the data that we get is from the economists, or we can call the newspaper, and also data analysis from people outside of China. So Uyghur are detained in mass detention camp and was put in the camp called re-education camp. This was cited from newspaper. China always counterclaim by stating that the education camp is for adherents of the Uyghur ethnic to Communist Party ideology. There are many more accusations towards China about Uyghur in Xinjiang. However, we can only conclude the one that is proved to be the main proof for their persecution on have their own opinion and stance towards China's action. Some states was against China, and there are also some states who are acting neutral to avoid being in the different path with China. So we need to know that foreign policy of different states is different based on their goals and interests. However, nowadays we did not only have state as sole actors in international arena. We also have other actors such as international organizations and non-governmental organization (NGO) that also have impacts and pressure on decisions of the state. As we know, the NGO and INGOs played essential role in the international arena, especially in matters relating to human rights. So in our discussion, we will discuss about the state's stand and also the NGO and international governmental stand and opinions towards persecution of Uyghur ethnic in Xinjiang, China. Next.
So for the first objective is to study the state's action towards Uyghur. So we decided, next slide. So we decided to analyze the OIC, the United States, the United Nations, and representing the Southeast Asia, Malaysia. As the Muslims world organizations, OIC's aim is to protect the rights of Muslim minorities in non-member states. However, regarding issues of Uyghur, OIC seems not as active as their role in Rohingya issues in Myanmar. In this issue, they are more towards a passive or soft approach through international relations with the China, or in other words, they tend to be very careful. As one of Muslim nations, Indonesia decided to apply the principle of non-intervention against what occurred in China. This is because OIC gains advantages economically from China and how big China's role as central state in economic integration with Asia and Middle East. Next, the United States, their response towards Uyghur is that they come up with the Uyghur Human Rights Policy Act of 2020, where the bills allow US applied sanctions toward China officials who liable for the arrest and abuse of Uyghurs, Turkish Muslim ethnic group primarily residing in Xinjiang. And the bills also allow US to dissolve assets of individuals and entities which held liable for human rights violation in Xinjiang. And also the bills include submission of annual reports in the Congress of Human Rights in Xinjiang. Next slide. The United Nations also show their condemnation for the China's conduct towards Uyghur, where Christoph Husgen, as the German ambassador representing other 39 nations, including the US, once called upon China asking them to respect the human rights, specifically the rights of minorities in Xinjiang. He also called Beijing requesting them to shut down the camp. So from the support shown by the numbers of nations, it indicates that the UN should strive towards establishing an international mechanism to control the situation in China. And the last one, representing Southeast Asia, Malaysia respond to this issue saying that they will not accept demands to deport Uyghur ethnic refugees back to China. Instead, they will encourage them to move safely to other third countries. And since Malaysia is one of the most favored major destination for them to Turkey, and the authorities also once freed 11 Uyghurs from detention and sent them to Turkey in October 2018, ignoring China request. Next presenter.
Okay. I am going to talk about the second objective, which is to analyze the NGO's reaction on Uyghur human abuses. So there are many NGO in this world which their objectives and goals is to preserve and protect any kind of rights, especially human rights in international community. So first, in the early year of 2019, about 37 NGO urged the UN Human Rights Council. Among the 37 NGO is World Uyghur Congress and the Network of Chinese Human Rights Defenders, Free Tibet, and PEN America, urged the UN Human Rights Council in an open letter to come out with action plan against the act of the Chinese violence on Uyghur people. So the letter asked the UN Human Rights Council to indicate unified concern regarding the situation which has becoming worse in China. So later on March 2019, 13 NGOs sent joint letter again to the EU. So among the 13 NGO is Amnesty International, China Aid, Christian Solidarity Worldwide, Frontline Defenders, Gesellschaft für Betroffene Worker, International Campaign for Tibet, International Federation for Human Rights FIDH, International Service for Human Rights, International Tibet Network, Human Rights in China, Human Rights Watch, Unrepresented Nations and People's Organizations, and World Uyghur Congress. So in this joint letter to EU, they asked to press China for a positive change as well as to relay messages in their upcoming meetings at that time, as they have diplomatic relations, which is EU-China relations. So in 2020, last year, about more than 300 NGOs sent joint letter to the UN. So in the joint letter, they asked for highlight on the issue of human rights in China regarding the fate faced by the Uyghur people, stressing on the effect and ways to control their situation. So it can be said that almost all the NGO in this world, in the international community, really cares about the fate of the Uyghur people in China face. So they are doing their best as much as they can do to help Uyghur people to achieve their freedom from the violence of China. So next presenter.
For the third objective, it is to determine the impacts of criticism towards perspective of Uyghur. So the Uyghur repression have received numerous of criticisms from all over the maps. As one of the major power, does all the criticisms and condemn has any impact on China and Uyghur is things that should be questioned. So within the United Nations, particularly in the United States, 39 countries of the UN has expressed their dissatisfaction against China's action on Uyghur, while the UN officials demanded access into the Uyghurs camp. On the other hand, the United States, who is known for China's not so good friend, also support these countries on the behalf of the UN. Next. On this behalf, the China counterbacks by saying that US is not so good at humanitarian things, so they shouldn't even condemn Chinese on the humanitarian itself. China's ambassador also stated that without addressing the Uyghur problem, China's human rights achievements are widely recognized. And on the other hand, while other Muslim states are actually refused to condemn or put any criticisms toward the China's action, Turkey was the first Muslim majority country that voiced the concern and publicly criticized China's action. And Turkey's foreign minister called on China to respect human rights and freedom of religion. While within this also, the China also stated that the China keeps denying the mistreatment on Uyghur and also state that Turkey's action has betrayed their relationship. This relationship means the trade relationship, as China is actually looking forward opportunities to invest in Turkey, and this condemn on from Turkey to China is actually betraying their trade relations, and Turkey has a little bit stand on this. But as Turkey also against them, China called it betrayal as they will not stay in relation with those who go against them. Thank you.
Okay, Bismillah. For the next objective is about the possibility and challenges of application of ICL. Okay, for this objective, the Chinese leaders cannot be sheltered behind their country and must give full cooperation. But unfortunately, in this Uyghur case, they are not recognized the international criminal law or ICC jurisdictions because China is not party of the Rome Statute, and Chinese government force the possibility crimes made by China is that Chinese government force the birth control or absorptions, sterilization of Uyghur minority women, and also detain millions of Uyghur in prison camps. And the limbs of the birth control could be genocide categorized, and of course is very legal prohibition on international law. So the lash of detention also be reported that abuse, cause abuse, and possible crime against humanity. For example, in that detention, they need to force for political indoctrinations, which means that the political undergo Uyghurs include sit for hours, listen to speeches, singing to the patriotisms and so on, and they were also subjected to abuse and also torture and ill treatment and false political that I mentioned before. In short, the Rome Statute identify 4 crimes under Article 5 within the jurisdiction of ICC, which are a crime of genocide, crime against humanity, war crime, and also crime of aggression. And in this case of Uyghur, the crimes against humanity exactly are universally prohibited under international law.
So for the conclusion, China now facing mounting global criticism from world over its treatment of the Uyghur population. China had claims of forced labor camps and mass sterilization from ethnic of Uyghur. Boris Johnson government had stated that Beijing of egregious human rights abuse against that minority groups. Experts and activists state that Muslim countries have been silent over China crackdown on its Uyghur because the many of the countries fear economic retribution from China. Many of them also said reason Muslim countries still keep silent on this case because many Arab states have poor human rights records and don't want to draw attention to themselves. So that's all from our group. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I think that's all from us. We can see that China has done a persecution. However, every state have their own stance, and the international governmental organization and NGO have done a lot to actually help and pressure China in this problem. We hope that from this discussion, we have bring and address the issue of persecution of Uyghur in Xinjiang, China, and this issue could be discussed more because we need more people who can pressure the states to actually reduce the persecution on the ethnic of Uyghur. I think that's all from us, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, we end our discussion with thank you.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam.